Welcome back, Wavesa, and today I figured we'd take a little look into a recent battle that I had. Since I've been home for spring break, I've had the pleasure of playing a couple 40k battles, so I will be getting those out to you over the course of probably the next couple weeks because of the editing time. But this one, I figured I just got home, literally from the drive, and I was just like, alright, dropped off at the game store, pulled up, one of my friends was there. I was like, yeah, sure, we can have a game. So we pulled out all the guys, photoed his army, my army, and a couple progress shots throughout the entire game. So hopefully this is entertaining for you guys, and you can take a little insight into what I've been pulling, or what I've been playing these days. Anyways, it was a full Khorne Demons army. You've got, on the far end, if you can look and see the little Khorne Hound things that breathe fire, you've got obviously the normal basic demons. I think they're the, not Skull Crushers, but Bloodletters, and I think the Skull Crushers are the cavalry guys behind them. There's a Demon Prince on the far end that you can see with wings, and closest to us there's one of the big guys. I don't know what they're called. I don't think it's a Lord of Skulls, I think that's something else, but anyways, inform me in the comments down below. One of the big boys. So looking at all this, pretty tough, and I bet you're wondering what I brought to bear. So what I brought was all infantry Tau, because I've been trying to get this to work for the longest time. It has been my passion, my pride and joy. And if you notice, throughout these two photos, I've got 3 squads of breachers. I know it's all gray tide. I actually forgot all of my painted guys back home when I ran out to play the game. So there's 3 squads of breachers, there's 3 squads of strike teams, there's 3 squads of pathfinders. We've got Anshi, Anva, and if you notice, there is a Commander Shadowsun in there. It's the old black, it's a one black model you see. It's on the old base. It's really tiny, but you know, my friends are not too picky about it. And 2 squads of Kroot, full 20 mans. I know what you're thinking, who in the world brings a 20-man squad of Kroot? Well, this guy does. And let me tell you, they pulled their weight big time. Anyways, so first off, we got deployment up here. I kept all of my breacher squads in reserves and strategic reserves. He kept his 2 bloodletter squads with their special characters attached in reserves as well. So what we have set up here is he's got his 2 flaming breathing hounds on the flanks. He's got the Skull Crushers, I believe, in the center. The cavalry guys in the center, looking to make a move around. And he's got his 2 guys with wings hiding behind the main cover in the center. So the Demon Prince and the giant Khorne Demon. Whereas I, on the other side, put a Pathfinder squad on each flank. I put a strike team squad in right next to them, slowly moving inwards. And then next to them, I put a Kroot squad to go up either side to get around the main cover that I had in the center with their scout moves, hopefully hide a little bit, maybe get an early jump on objectives, depending on what the pregame was. My Pathfinders had the -2 to charge drones because I was not about to put them in the center and forward deploy them because it's Khorne, and they're just going to be running at me head-on anyway, so I was not about to do any of that nonsense. I had one of my Pathfinder squads on my home objective, and in the center I had Shadowsun and Anva, and then Darkstrider with his Pathfinders, because I was thinking, I'll put him in the center on the center little cover place that I got. He'll be able to look down all the different line-of-sight ways with his railguns that I've got him equipped with. Oh yeah, all the Pathfinders had railguns, to give them their nice Strength 10, AP minus, ridiculous railguns to give them the +1 to wound, because the big flying guys are what I'm going to be focusing my guns down on in order to take out, because they're going to be the biggest threat, because I can clear away chaff, no problem with all of the infantry that I have. My main issue is like an anti-tank, anti-monster style things. So we rolled off, and I got really lucky. I got turn 1 somehow, which I don't think I wanted, but I think it worked out for the best for me. So what I did was I scouted forward my Pathfinders on the side so I could get a good line of sight on his dogs, and then I also scouted forward my Kroot into the center. And my plan was I just have 40 bodies of Kroot, and I'm just going to spread them out in such a way that I'll be able to keep my Pathfinders, Shadowsun, and Anva fairly safe. Even though I know Anva is good at plugging up opponents, I just wanted to avoid as much damage as possible so that I could, you know, eventually pop his 2 up invuln along with his -1 to hit and wound later on. So my opponent kind of was just stuck standing there, and I used my Pathfinder squad on either flank to shoot down into his hounds. I killed one on the far end, as you can see, completely. And the one closest, I only killed 3.5. Pretty disappointing, but, you know, what do you expect? I couldn't draw too much line of sight on anyone else. I've got a strike team standing on the far objective, which I think was a flaw for me, as you'll see in the near future. And then I've got some of my Pathfinders behind it, and similar on the other side. But the strike squad couldn't actually get in range of the objective. I was mainly moving them up so that if he decided to move anyone too close that looked fragile, I'd be able to pop the stratagem for them to overwatch on a 4+. So from here, it's his turn, and I took a photo at the start of my next turn, actually, because I messed up. But what happened was he moved everybody up and charged in. The Skull Crushers on the far end, the cavalry unit, completely wiped out the strike team. There wasn't even a point in spending the CP to try to overwatch because he'd be hitting on 4s, wounding on 5s, because he's T7. And that really threw a wrench in my plans for how I was going to be able to deal with these guys. Not to mention, like, he spiked on the mortal wounds and just completely obliterated everybody, so he had the objective. His two big demons made it into the center and charged my Kroot, but there were just too many bodies of Kroot. He couldn't clear all of them out, which was nice. He also touched on Vada. That was an issue. He was able to snake away in. I should have moved my Kroot in a better way to screen out better. But what actually happened was he swung with his Demon Prince, and it killed a number of my Kroot, and also with his little dogs, they like started eating my Kroot. But my Kroot swung back into the dogs and killed them all, so they had a 5-up Feel No Pain for the rest of the game, which actually helped them out a lot and made them way more durable, so I could make better plays with them later on. So anyways, upon the conclusion of that, I'd lost one strike team and a bunch of Kroot, which was a pretty good trade for taking out his 2 flaming dogs, and one of my Kroot had a 5-up Feel No Pain. So I was looking pretty good. The start of my turn, as you can see, I moved my guys up. My Pathfinders stayed still, so they could draw a line onto the big guys in the center and use the railguns. My strike team moved up onto the objective, just in case, you know, the 4-up Overwatch strat. My breachers dropped in on the far end to get a look at the cavalry guys. My Pathfinders move up to take the objective back so that he wouldn't have it in his Shadow of Chaos. And I believe I failed Battle Shock on one of my center Kroot that was holding the objective against the big guy. And because of how the Shadow of Chaos works, pretty much like they get a deep strike in, closer within 6 inches, you know, make charges easier. So what he did was he rapid ingressed into my lines because he had controlled more at this point in time at the start of the game before I moved all my guys on. So his Bloodletters came in to say hello to my strike team, which was pretty worrisome, and my Kroot had moved away, so they weren't screening him out so far back to keep him in his own deployment zone. This was a little bit of an issue, because I was thinking, oh, I'll just send my 5-up Feel No Pain Kroot to tie up the big guys in the center longer, which is not exactly how it went down. But anyways, what happens is, I end up I blast away at everything, and so at the end of my turn, I completely whittle down the little Bloodletter squad, such that they're not really a threat to my strike team on the objective. Sure, there's a chance that they'll kill them all, but I kind of looked at it as you don't have enough attacks anymore. So, and also I could pop the strat to 4-up Overwatch again. From there, I blasted away at the guys in the center. The Demon Prince was where I focused all of my damage. He got 2 wounds left, which was kind of sad. Shadow Sun completely whiffed, so I had to use the frickin' like jump, shoot, jump ability on her so she could hide behind the Pathfinders and my strike team just to be safe from everybody, because I can't deal with that nonsense. My breachers that I pulled in on the far end actually whiffed against the cavalry because 5's rerolling is not that good. Strength 7 really hurts the breachers' lethality, and he also rolled fairly hot on his saves, so I only crippled, maybe killed and crippled the cavalry, and my Pathfinders were just stuck there, and they also whiffed because the railguns didn't do squat, and also their carbines, you know, you're wounding on 5s, so not so good. But I digress. So it was looking all right. I charged my Kroot in, if you notice, they're all gone now, to the Demon Prince to tie him up, because I was like, all right, I need to keep at least one of the big guys in one spot, and he has 2 wounds left, and there's a shot. He can roll double 1s, and I might be able to kill him. That didn't happen, but the 5-up Feel No Pain saved me and kept all my guys alive, or 2 of my guys alive still. So after that, it was his turn, and about what you could have expected happened. He dropped in his some more blood letters on the far side. He sent his big guy over to clean up my breachers on the far end. And what I did was I overwatched with my strike team on my home objective, completely whittling away the blood letters on that side, like I did the ones on my flank. All of his charges went off. It was perfect. He ended up cleaving through the last of my recruit, holding him in the center. He killed 7 of my breachers on the far end, and his cavalry guys killed all my pathfinders. It wasn't even funny. It wasn't even difficult whatsoever. So it was looking a little rough. I think his Demon Prince even consolidated into on Va. And every time, for the record, on Va got into combat, he scored a hit. I rolled a 6 for him to hit, but he never wounded. And it was funny, though, just the fact that every single time on Va was in there throwing hands. So he completely sniped Shadow Sun out, which got rid of my reroll of 1s, but he only killed 3 of my Pathfinders. So Dark Strider and Pathfinders are safe, Shadow Sun's dead, but the blood letters in the back are severely depleted in their lethality, and along with the Demon Prince in the center, he's still hung up and not doing anything, and the big guy was off killing breachers, which are, like, it's 9 points a model. It's not that impressive. Like, they're really good for the package, but it's better him going off on the flank that he already controls than coming over the side that I control a bit. So then it came to my turn, and I dropped in my other breacher squads. On-Shi came in with his squad, and the plan was if I didn't kill all of the blood letters with On-Shi, I'd charge them in, and On-Shi has special attack profiles, and he might character snipe or something fun like that. There's also my other breacher squad that came in closer to his deployment zone. So the plan was I'm going to kill these guys off the objective. I was waiting for him to get on the objectives, like the strike teams die, him get on the objectives, wipe him out with my breachers, and then be able to walk around a bit easier. My Pathfinders moved up in order to take the objective because my strike team got battle shocked. The breachers lined up their shots on the remaining blood letters, and there's the Demon Prince in the center that the Pathfinders were going to lower their rails into and hopefully get rid of. So upon the conclusion of that turn, I had killed the Demon Prince with the rail rifles, awesome, because I rolled a 6, which was devastating, and I cleared off all the blood letters. And he's got 2 units left way on the far end of the board. Sure, they're fairly fast, and one has wings, but I was holding everything in the center and on this side. So I've got the majority control back, and I don't have any issues with the Shadow of Chaos anymore. Though he does spin back and clear off Dark Strider and Pathfinders in the center. He did leave the 3 breachers on the far end alone, which gave me the opportunity that I'd be able to walk into the objective. And he brought his big skull guy, a big corn demon, back, and he cleared the strikes off and then piled into the breachers. And I was hoping that maybe the breachers would be able to, with On-Shi, blink a couple wounds off. But he's just too big, too tough. I don't think I was going to be able to deal with him. My best bet is the rail rifles closer to us on the objective in order to lower their guns down and shoot into the big guy. Those cavalry guys have been the bane of my existence this entire game. It's been rough. So anyways, upon the conclusion of my turn, I ended up charging on Va into no effect, and we contested my home objective, and he took off the cavalry guys from his game. But at this point in time, at the end of my movement phase, or at the end of the turn or something, some strat to redeploy him. But at this time, like if my breachers walked on the far objective, I stopped taking pictures because I had to run. There was a family event I had to attend, just getting back home. So it looked like I fairly had everything secure, and he just didn't have enough units to be everywhere, whereas I did have enough to scatter about. But there wasn't necessarily controlling of all the objectives in primary. We didn't do secondary. So if any of you guys want to tally up how much primary points I got down in the comments versus my opponent and who really won, because he contends that it was fairly even the whole time. I was like, yeah, but I always had infantry on the board. He's like, yeah, your Shadow of Chaos was only there for like 1 turn. He was like, yeah, no, but it's pretty back and forth, pretty even. So if anyone wants to tally up that, you can also do Slay the Warlord. I'll let you in a little secret. All my characters were dead by the end, and he only had the big guy. I'm pretty sure the Demon Prince was a Warlord, or one of his named character little skull letter guys. But I could be completely wrong, so I did kill that. And I did have breachers in his home objective. We were doing line breaker, so maybe he had some line. His big guy was definitely going to be in my home objective. My guys were going to be in his, but depending on whether the little skull cavalry guys were going to come in and clear him out, would dictate how many of them would still be there. Anyways, I digress. I hope you all enjoyed. This is just a little sneak peek at how I'm running my infantry Tau. I'm hopefully going to get a full game in of infantry Tau, or maybe I can mech it up or something and get my crisis suits back out there and see how well that works out. But I digress. I hope you all enjoyed. Let me know what you think. Feel free to tell any of your stories against the demons and what works well for you, because I found that my guys on the objectives, like the strike teams with their 4-up Overwatch, really helped me out, really bailed me out from a lot of damage coming in from the Bloodletters, and really kept them honest on what exactly they should be doing because of just the ability for them to wreak havoc, because a 50-50 save is pretty good. I've noticed that with all the demon interactions I've had. Anyways, thank you all for watching. I'd like to thank my patrons, Danu Vivek, Samjer, Ryan Hall, David Palilio, K-Mag, Jonathan Patino, Chris F., Mark, Magnus Therodi, and created by Philip. Thank you all for watching, and thank you for supporting and keeping the lights on out here. And I hope your day goes for the greater good.